Keir Starmer is in big trouble. He's been struggling for a while, and so has the Labour Party. But I'm not quite sure that Keir realises just how much trouble he's actually in. To explain what I mean, I want to take you back to the recent cabinet meeting, the first one after the so-called reshuffle. And I'm going to play a clip from the BBC, but I want to interpret it in a different way. And I'm going to suggest that this could be what is going on in Keir's mind, or at least one of the things. Bear in mind that he's very keen to survive. So here we go with the clip.
Good morning, colleagues.
Now he says good morning, colleagues. Knowing Keir, he could easily have said good morning, comrades. Not for any reason beyond if he thought that would curry favour, buy him more votes, power, prestige, buy-in from the actual people in that room. Could he create a collegiate atmosphere? I doubt it. But anyway, he's used colleagues because he felt that was better. What I'm pointing out here is that one way to look at Keir, and I've said this for a while, is that he will do what is expedient. He will do what he thinks in the moment is likely to, amongst other things, to be fair, is likely to help him maintain power or gain more power. In this case, I think he's focused on staying in this role, in that job.
Let me welcome you to...
What's he going to welcome them to?
This cabinet team.
Now notice it's this cabinet team, which implies a certain element of a transient team. There's a transience to what he's just said. You're just passing through. And they are, of course, people in that room will be acutely aware that only a couple of days before they had a different makeup. And some of them, yes, have remained, but it's different and different enough for it to feel probably quite odd. You know, they're forming, storming, norming, so they're not at the storming phase even yet, which is great news for the country, of course. But what we have is a team who know that the last team has been altered pretty much overnight, and how secure must they feel? Should they feel? Well, you shouldn't feel secure in the slightest. In fact, they may be asking themselves, is this a bit like the Running Man? Is that what we've gotten ourselves involved in? Or the Hunger Games? No, it's probably more like Squid Game, but there's no great prize at the end. Might be a surprise in terms of how long you may last in that position, but, well, we'll see as things develop.
And the next stage of our journey as we...
The next stage of our journey. Now, normally politicians, it's hackneyed if they say journey, but I think in this case, they are kind of on a journey because they are essentially sitting in a rubber dinghy with no oars, no way to control the dinghy, and they're on a fast-flowing river, and it is fast heading towards that raft with them in it. Some very, very, very turbulent waters, dangerous waters. The bad news for them and us is that if that's happening to them, it's happening to the country as well.
Move from the stage of fixing foundation.
Now, again, Keir, really, this to me shows a huge lack of self-awareness. Is no one telling him? Fixing the foundations, it's toxic. What are you saying? Do you just think if you keep on repeating these words and, you know, say them in a bland fashion regularly, that people will believe that something actually happened? Now, some things did happen, but you've got to take on board what the feeling is in the country to read the room. You didn't fix the foundations. The foundations were destroyed. Just things that people cherished and thought were really important, like pensioners, like farmers. The list goes on. And you ripped it all away and replaced it with like quicksand. It's dangerous out there. It is unsettling out there. So fixing the foundations was quite the reverse of that. But still, you trot out the phrase. Anyway.
Now on to the stage of national renewal.
Now, what does that mean? To be fair, this is just the intro from the BBC clip. But what does it mean? Because details are required, and also details, things that can be measured, and when they're going to be measured, they need to be measured regularly, because you get the impression that Keir's not alone, but that if he's given a chance, then fixing the foundations, national renewal, he'll repeat that ad nauseum until he gets as close as he possibly can to the next election. If he, and indeed Labour, can last that long.
And you are all here around this table.
You're all here around this table to protect me. You are going to fend off the awkward questions, the journalists. You're going to do the interviews. You're going to effectively keep me safe. You're going to do the work in the country and take the heat, as it were, from the nation, from the journalists, from the commentators, whilst I attempt to find something on the world stage that makes me look good. That's why you're here.
Each and every one of you, because you're the right people.
You're the right people. Shouldn't they be the left people? But anyway, you're the right people. Well, you are the right people, actually. You are the right people. But you're the only people, which makes you the right people. Who else did he have to choose? What else could he have done? You see, he can't risk putting in too many people who are unknown, who are just so new, so fresh, so untested in the eyes of the public that they're looking at them going, what has he done? Who's in charge? So he needs an element of brand recognition, even if that brand isn't that good. So effectively, it's a little bit like, Pirates of the Caribbean, that part when one of the officers says, you're essentially the worst pirate I've ever heard of. And Jack Sparrow says, but you have heard of me. And so, yeah, we have heard of some of them. And that seems to be the principle. The right people, the only people care.
For this stage of our journey.
The stage of our journey. What stage is that?
Right people, therefore, to focus on our priorities, which are economic growth.
Okay, fine. Again, bland. Got to say it. Glad you said it. Detail, detail, detail.
And national renewal.
Here we go again. Repetition. Fix the foundations, economic growth, national renewal. How?
And the right people.
Again, the right people. Who are you trying to convince? Them? Yourself? Hopefully not us.
To heed the patriotic call to...
The patriotic call? This is strange language from Keir. Whose persona is he adopting now? Today, Matthew, I'm going to be, Cher. What the patriotic call? Obviously, trying to curry favour with the US, maybe not. Patriotic call, that's a strange one. To do what? And then we go here to this. One Labour MP described the situation as a shambles, and a government minister said they were starting to wonder how sustainable it is for Morgan McSweeney, the Prime Minister's Chief of Staff, to stay in post. And this is, of course, about Mandelson's appointment to the US as the ambassador. And McSweeney is increasingly being blamed for Lord Mandelson's appointment. I'll bet he is. But was it all him? Several senior Labour figures claim McSweeney had been resisting the inevitability of Mandelson's departure on Wednesday, which is odd. Someone in that position should be able to, see the writing on the wall. That's odd if he was. Very odd. With one insider describing cold, hard fury amongst those in Downing Street about this episode. And to me, that's very telling, because it's just not good for Keir Starmer either way. I mean, he oversaw in some way, one presumes, Mandelson being appointed in the first instance. Remember what I was saying earlier about, well, you, the cabinet, are there to protect me. Is McSweeney going to be the scapegoat? Because why was he fighting so hard? If that's true, why would he do that? In that job, at that level, he must have known that, the writing was on the wall. This continue. Mandelson had to go. He had to go. So either that is an extreme error in judgment on McSweeney's part, and maybe it is, but what about Keir Starmer? What was he doing at that point in time? You can't expect us to believe that he didn't know about the detail of this, didn't know exactly what was going on.